You're such an asshole.
We got a good question, and I'd like to save you young people as much time, agony, and stress as possible. And for many reasons, more so than in the past, when even back when I went to college, your GPA really didn't matter that much. I mean, you really wanted to keep it above a 2.0, ideally a 3.0, but beyond that, straight A's, 4.0, fuck that shit. Fuck it. That really only mattered if you were going to some kind of elite dick sucking industry or grad program, like if you want to get into Harvard. But that entire industry and field is falling apart and no longer carries the cachet. So even more so today, it doesn't matter. But let's read this guy's question. Hello, Cappy. Are straight A's worth it? I'm an electrical engineering student, thanks to Worthless, and I'll be graduating from college in the fall of 2026. The reason why I'm asking is because in the previous video responses you made for me, you told me not to worry about making straight A's to keep the GPA above a 3.5. Yeah, that was me. Since being accepted in the electrical engineering program, I've completed 3 semesters of upper division EE courses, with which I've made nothing shy of straight A's, although I derive a lot of confidence and meaning from doing so because it's fucking hard. Nonetheless, I feel as if sometimes my mental health is slipping away. Yeah, it's called no sleep. It's called all work and no joy makes Johnny a dull boy. I mean, I won't lie, the finance degree I got, there was a lot of math and statistics, but it doesn't approach anything you guys do in engineering. But did you have to study Porter's 5 forces model? I bet you didn't. Don't you feel like a fool? Slipping away. For example, I'm currently in my 4th semester and heading into finals week with 1B in a 1 credit lab class. Hard professor grade is also dependent on lab partners' work. And other than that, my lowest grade is a 96, but I feel as if I've somehow come up short. You have, in a very narrow sense, there's nothing wrong inherently with wanting to get straight A's, right? To get the perfect score. Sure. And it's looking like you're not going to get it. The only drawback you have right now in getting a B in that 1 or 2 credit lab, the only drawback, the only failure, the only consequence is that you won't get straight A's. That's it. You won't get that perfect score. But otherwise, no one's going to care, man. If you got a 96, so you get a B in 1 credit, right? 1 credit out of all the other credits. Out of 120 credits, you got 1 B on 1 credit. It will have no real effect, none whatsoever. Maybe even help you a little bit because someone comes in there with a straight 4.0 and like, what's wrong with this guy? And I'd like to say to not worry about and chill out, but I still at the same time understand that, well, who wouldn't want to get a 10 out of 10, right? Who wouldn't want to have the perfect score? I think it's going to cost you a lot more in the long run to get this arbitrary and ultimately pointless goal of having a perfect 4.0. One of the many regrets I have, but this isn't the biggest one, but it's up there. I had like a 3.96. I got 2 A minuses. It kind of like you had an independent study where 2 credits were a B plus. And at the time, all I did, dude, was sacrifice sleep, sacrifice fun for fucking nothing. Essentially, I had straight A's. It totally wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the extra studying. I could have gotten a 3.0. Like, I could have gotten so much more sleep. I could have gotten out to more parties. And I wasn't a big party guy, but I enjoyed the few parties I went to. I would have spent more time with my friends. I would have skipped a lot more classes, which you can do in like the liberal arts, social sciences, and business school because you don't have to be there. It's not intelligent. It's not smart. Engineering, you probably got to be there because they're going over important shit. Yeah, it wasn't worth it for me. So you feel as if you've come up somehow short. Well, yeah, in only the purest mathematical sense, you have come up. What would it be? 1/100th? You might even round up. Hang on. You're the math guy better than I am. So, what's a bachelor's degree? Is that 90 credits? 120 credits. So, you're over 100. So, 199 times 4. Oh, wait, I did that wrong. 119 times 4. Okay, 476. And you're doing how? Yeah, 1 credit at 3. 1 credit at a B plus 3. 479 divided by 120 at 3.9916. I was gonna say maybe it just rounds up to 4 anyway. No, you're down to a 3.99. I think for your resume, that's just gonna catch someone's eye. The number like a 3.99, like, wow, how? And I'm not kidding. Psychologically, that's probably gonna help you like have people at least pay more attention to your resume if you get a 3.99 GPA. No one is going to it's only for you, man. And if I could convince you, don't worry about it. Just freaking the reason I got an A minus one of my classes was lab work. Another one, I'm sorry, working with other people. It wasn't fully under my control. Dude, I wish I went to a different school. I wish I had a different degree. I wish I didn't give a fuck about my GPA. I wish I just kept it above a 3, and I wish I had more fun. I wish I took 7 years to graduate. Knowing what I know now, knowing there is no fucking job out there. Now, for you, there might be with electrical engineering. But yeah, and it's also kind of like this is the last time you're going to get grades, right? And that's all you've ever known since you were, 5 years old. You got grades. That's what you did. And this is how you measure performance. This is the best. This is the most important. And at the end of the day, this all ends and your grades don't matter. It really doesn't. I'm not saying you mail it in and then just, becoming a liberal arts major and doing pot and then bitching about capitalism. No. Keep your GPA nice and high. I would not lose sleep over it. And if you need to back off and only get an A minus, like if you must have exceptional study skills too. So you got some good habits. But if you've studied for a night once and you're like, boy, I got to go over those notes again. But then you got the opportunity to go to a party, go to the party, man. Go talk to a girl, have a drink or two, not more than that. I'm presuming you're of age to drink. Just you can back off, man. If you got a 3.9, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And if you're losing your sleep, absolutely do not sacrifice your sleep for this. Go to bed when you need to go to bed. And so what? You get an 88 on your test, and you got a B plus. Oh well. If I make anything less than an A on my own assignment, quiz, or exam, it messes with my head for at least a couple days. That's bad. That's a drawback, man. That level of perfectionism is going to bite you. Look, why are you going to college, right? You're going to college so you get yourself a good career and you make lots of money. So you have financial stability, and that big old problem of financial stability is taken out of your life. You don't have to worry about it no more. However, if you're a purist or a perfectionist, you're not going to make money. This might be a good time for you, like purposely get a B plus. I wouldn't necessarily do that because I like the idea of trying your best so you know what you're capable of. But that's a you problem. You got to solve that. That's wrong. You're like, oh man, I missed it. I understand from an academic or intellectual standpoint. Oh, I should have known that one. Or, that was a tough question. Oh, I see how, but that's the whole point of learning. But when it comes to practical application, when this college ends, you don't have to worry about this shit no more. It won't matter if you have a 3.8 or a 4.0. It really won't. Quiz and it messes with my head. Occasionally I'll smoke pot. Okay, now see, here you go. Here you go. Now you're engaging in the behavior that actually is going to fuck you up. Occasionally I'll smoke pot and find instant relief as life is good. Thoughts will rush into my head and I'll question why I'm working this hard. Okay, how about we not study as much, and instead of smoking pot, we go to a party and hang out with some friends. Okay? Maybe you have a cocktail, assuming you're old enough. I know pot, and the pot in this case is good for you because you need to realize that life is good and you're not worrying about it. Try to find something better than that shit. Just Cappy, it's not as bad as alcohol. Yeah, you're right, but you know what? The social stigma is bad. It is. I'll hire an alcoholic before I hire a pothead. I will. Give me an alcoholic any day. There are highly functional alcoholics. I've considered going to therapy, which is free on campus. Oh shit. But the chance of getting sat down with a blue hair lib is probably fairly high. In theory, it wouldn't matter what they could be a big Marxist communist. Your question has nothing to do with politics or economics. My only concern with you talking to a therapist, especially at a university, is therapists, they don't seem to work. And I haven't fully talked to you and I can't diagnose it. You just seem to be a little tightly wound. I don't think you have some severe mental disorder. You just need to learn to chill the fuck out and relax. It's okay if you get a B. I think you need to be made very well aware that there are no consequences if you get an A- or a B. Like if your GPA goes down a full 1/10 of a point, you graduate with a 3.9, you're still going to be fine. And maybe, you know what? It might be worth talking to a therapist anyway, just to get a different viewpoint. Is it obsessive compulsive? I don't know. I mean, why not? If it's free, go. What the hell? It's not going to cost you anything. Go do it. See what they say. I mean, if you do get some fat pig with blue hair and she somehow makes it about the patriarchy, well, there's your answer. Go talk to him. It's not going to cost you anything, and as long as you know that you're not evil because you got a dick, I think you should be fine, no matter what they say. They might provide some insight, but yeah, there's. It could also be that you sound like a straight A student, like maybe your parents drilled the image. Hey, you gotta. And so this is just behavior. Like I eat fast, right? Ain't gonna go away. Maybe it's just carryover behavior. It's been so ingrained in you. What I'm trying to point out is that your fear is irrational. It wasn't okay. It was somewhat rational. Like, well, if I don't get a 4.0, would I have less success? No, not really. Like, if you had a 3.0 versus a 4.0, yes. But if you have a 3.95, no, man, you're fine. And so, in a logical sense, your fear was logical, but it wasn't rational. A 3.9 is going to be just fine for all the practical things, your career, if you want to get into grad school, whatever. I'd rather read the Bible and give you my money instead because you've never steered me wrong. But I don't know where the part in the Bible is about straight A's. And Jesus said unto Mary, hey, you don't need straight A's. It's all right. You just have to be a good enough carpenter and show up on time. And the Canaanites celebrated. But Cappy, the Canaanites were before the Israelites. I know. Grapes, bunches, I know. Are straight A's worth it, Cappy? No, in my opinion, they're not. They're not. And another way you might want to look at it now is you have your concerns that you have now, which I'm not saying are dumb or stupid. What you don't realize is what you may have forfeited if you had a little bit more of a social life or at least less stress or better sleep in your life. That's a regret I have. Dude, I would have shaved a full fucking point off my GPA because, well, of course, I never had a career much that begat from it because I went to the Carlson School of Management, and you get shitty careers when you graduate from the Carlson School of Management. Oh, I'm sorry, it correlates with shitty careers. No, I wish I slept more. I wish I partied more. I wish I took my time, and I wish I studied less. I just keep it above a 3.9 is what I would do. Now, if you're more worried about the more practical things, just to explain to you in the real, once you leave the fake world called school and how your degree is going to play out in the real world. So let's go through a couple things. First, you got the right degree. Your degree choice is more important than your CPA or your CPA, your GPA. You majored in engineering, man. One of the harder fields of engineering. You're going to do fine. Okay. You're going to do fine. Or I can say you're going to do a lot better than a Guatemalan history major with a 4.0. Okay. So the degree choice, an electrical engineering degree with a 2.0 is better than a 4.0 in the liberal arts, business, or the social sciences. So you're good there. Then on top of you have very high degree, a high GPA. So that'll allow you, if you want to go to grad school, sure, probably help you maybe get some scholarships. But having that high enough a GPA, your resume is going to be chosen uh, maybe a little bit more. So you got a good enough GPA. I also think in today's modern world and employment world, the ultra competitiveness is gone. I would say between my generation and the millennials, I think that's where probably more the millennials, because that push for extracurricular and you're not good enough. You need to have this, you need to have that. Did you donate time to charity? And how many black dicks did you suck? Oh my God, are you a good little Democrat? It was starting to get like when I graduated, I, I graduated summa cum laude. Now, if you went to the records, they said, no, I graduated with high distinction because in order to get the classical Latin with high honors, summa cum laude, you had to go and participate in their Marxist dick sucking nonprofit shit, which I didn't have time for. But fuck the Carlson School of Management, fuck the University of Minnesota, dumb motherfuckers. I did graduate summa cum laude. I did. It's just, you can call whatever you want, but I did graduate with high honors. To get into then grad school or to get into the best firms, yeah, I remember. Was it Lehman Brothers? God, it might have been Lehman Brothers, and they're bankrupt. I remember there was one of the bulge bracket elite investment bank firms, and competition was so fierce. They not only wanted your transcripts from college, they wanted to know what your high school GPA was, which right there should have told you this is a ridiculous place to work. This is not a place to work. This is not a field to work in, and it's not worth it. If you're that granular, that anal retentive, no, forget it. No, it's just you're psychopathic. You're mentally ill. It's not you. You are no longer tethered to the slightest bit of reality. That ultra competitiveness is gone. I think the younger millennials and the Zoomers, where you had the lying flat movement, people are starting to realize the veneer of a white collar career, especially in the highly competitive companies. So you would be what, Intel, right? AMD. Well, Intel's going to shit, right? Intel of the 1990s might have been a little bit pickier, but now, especially with younger people telling basically employers to fuck off, and no, we're not going to do that. And we're going to lie flat and we're not going to show up on time. And I'm having my emotional day combined with that prestige that once carried with the big four or the bulge bracket or working in Hollywood or Disney or all that. No, big old corpos, they got a negative reputation. People are not going to be, some still are the true believers, but people are not like, oh, geez, I got to get into Harvard. Harvard just had a plagiarist president have to get debunked, not debunked, demoted, not fired, because she's a black woman. We can't fire a black woman no matter how much they plagiarize. Like, I mean, those institutes, let's say you want to go to grad school. Who the fuck is going to go to Harvard? Harvard doesn't mean anything. Maybe in the NBA world, maybe Wharton still means something. Maybe the University of Chicago, but the Harvard MBA, it's an MBA. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Now that the reputation or the relationship between college graduates and corporate America has soured, and younger generations are more street smart about truly what is being offered by corporate, and let's just not forget general laziness because they were raised to be Democrats. Corporations don't have that prestige anymore. Well, we need to see your high school CPA or GPA. Oh, you didn't go to this? Oh, you're not a Yale man. Oh, did you belong to a fraternity? They're kind of like, oh shit, this kid's got a 3.5 plus GPA. And he's got a degree in electrical engineering. We need a fucking electrical engineer right now. Because the other one had an emotional day. And this goes where your mental health and getting good sleep. And you can't, like, if you're like, it's not perfect. This is where they need a normal person kind of to come in who does like, I need to do my pot. Otherwise, I got to suck my thumb. No, we need adults here. Okay. No more Democrats. No more under 30 Democrat. We need some responsible. They don't have to be Republicans, but no more Democrats, please. But whereas I would say definitely back in my day, especially if they're looking at high school GPAs, where, yeah, a 3.98 versus a 4.0 might have meant a difference in marketability. I think that's gone. And on top of it, I don't think you would want to work for any of those firms who still think their shit is platinum and that we require nothing but a 4.0 and you must come from the bluest of blue bloods, rich connected daddy schools. That shit is kind of over. So that whether you get a 3.9 or a 3.99 or a 4.0, I don't think it's going to matter at all. And as I said before, I think those premier employers are no longer sought after like that. The reputation of America's largest firms has taken a shit. And the whole idea of working in corporate America has taken a shit. And people are like, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to college for this and for you to pay me this shit wage. And so I think you're just fine from a practical standpoint. If you graduate from with a 3.9 and maybe you get laid and all right, go ahead, do your pot a little bit. All right. Don't fucking become an addict. Go have a cocktail. Oh, sleep. That's one that I would sleep. That's what I'd sleep and have a fucking day of playing video games and doing jack fuck all shit. That's what I would do. But yeah, and hopefully that helps. I know your problem is probably a little bit more psychological or mental. Not that you're mentally ill, but it's a mental hurdle you're trying to get over. And I do understand, like, man, I'd love to you get a perfect score on a game, right? I get it. You only go to college, undergrad once. Don't fret too much, man. Don't worry about it. I mean, way more important from a practical sense. Do you have an internship? You graduate in 2026. You got an internship? That's more important. That's way more important. I'd take a whole half a point GPA off of that shit. Go get yourself an internship. That's what I would be doing. And then, just so you know, corporations and employers are just groups of humans. You got to be human. People got to like you. It's more important that you're liked than what you know. Which is not right, but that's how it is. So you might want to loosen up a little bit. I still attain excellence, but it's okay if you get a B in this lab. All right, just be fine. Atham, I think, even had a C. I think he had a C once, but he was already he's never expressed a concern about his. I think he still graduated like a 3.6 in chemical engineering. No one's going to poo-poo him. All right. No super chats. Oh, wait. No, we got one super chat. My mistake. Link below. Worthless Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major. And this book here, Zero World Problems. Even though you are not at the stage yet, go get this book and read the chapter on sleep. Sleep is more important than women. Sleep is more important than your GPA. Sleep is more important. There's not a lot that's more important than sleep. Maybe if you're religious, God is more important than sleep, but there ain't much. Cappy, you being the old man, any moment now about to get his first gray pube, what would you place more value on? Triple D, tiggle bitties, or sleep? I would choose sleep. No fucking joke. No fucking joke. I choose sleep. Back then. Drew, $5. My brother, $5. My brother, who was a straight F student and is now a computer engineer, making over $500,000 a year. I tried, and I'm not making nearly that. So he won. Laugh out loud. Yeah, and then you got your true geniuses who just fuck around. There were two guys in high school. I wanted to see how they were doing. And I thought they'd be like, they're the goofballs that would have made zillions because they're super geniuses. And then, no, they're not. But there are those types. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.